Toronto is more than Canada's biggest city. It is the country's most visible urban symbol, a dense, diverse, economically powerful metropolis on the northwestern shore of Lake Ontario. With a city population of nearly 2.8 million in the 2021 census, Toronto ranks as the fourth most populous city in North America, behind only Mexico City, New York City, and Los Angeles. But its influence stretches far beyond the official city limits. The Greater Toronto Area, which includes Toronto and the surrounding regions of Peel, York, Durham, and Halton, is home to more than 6.7 million people. Using the census metropolitan area definition, the urban region climbs above 7.1 million. Toronto is where Canada's finance, media, culture, immigration, and urban growth intersect. Geography is central to Toronto's story. The city sits on a natural harbour along Lake Ontario, one of the 5 Great Lakes and a major freshwater system connected to wider continental trade routes. Its landscape is not just flat streets and towers. Toronto occupies a broad sloping plateau cut by rivers, deep ravines, and patches of urban forest. These ravines shape neighbourhoods, parks, transportation corridors, and the city's sense of place. The waterfront gave Toronto a strategic connection to movement, settlement, and commerce, while the inland valleys provided natural pathways and ecological variety. Long before highways, rail lines, and airports, the location helped make this area a meeting point between land and water. The Toronto area has been inhabited by Indigenous peoples for more than 10,000 years. That deep history matters because the modern city was not built on empty land. The region was part of complex Indigenous networks of travel, trade, diplomacy, and seasonal life. Rivers and portage routes connected Lake Ontario with interior waterways, making the area valuable long before European colonial settlement. The name Toronto itself is often associated with Indigenous language roots connected to meeting places or waterways, though its exact linguistic history is layered and debated. Any serious understanding of Toronto begins by recognizing that today's metropolis stands on Indigenous homelands with a far longer story than the city government, skyline, or modern street grid. Toronto's colonial history accelerated after the Toronto Purchase, an agreement in which the Mississaugas surrendered land to the British Crown. The purchase has long been disputed, reflecting broader conflicts over colonial land deals, unclear terms, and unequal power. In 1793, the British established the town of York and made it the capital of Upper Canada. The site was chosen partly for strategic reasons. It was defensible, connected to the lake, and useful for governing a growing colony. York began as a small administrative settlement, not a global city. Yet the decision to place government there gave the town an early political importance that helped shape its future. The War of 1812 brought York into a larger conflict between Britain and the United States. In 1813, the town became the site of the Battle of York. American troops captured and occupied it for about 2 weeks, and the settlement suffered heavy damage. For a small colonial town, the attack was a dramatic moment. Government buildings were destroyed, military stores were seized, and the vulnerability of the settlement was exposed. While York was not yet a major city, the battle became part of its civic memory. It also demonstrated how important control of the Great Lakes was to power in North America. The city that later became Toronto grew out of this contested borderland world. In 1834, York was renamed and incorporated as the City of Toronto. This marked a shift from colonial outpost to growing urban municipality. The new city developed around trade, government, industry, and transportation. In 1867, during Canadian Confederation, Toronto became the capital of the province of Ontario, giving it a formal political role in the new Dominion of Canada. Over time, the city expanded beyond its original boundaries. Through annexation and later amalgamation. The most important modern change came in 1998, when several municipalities were merged into the current city of Toronto, covering about 631 square kilometers. Today's city is therefore both old and newly reorganized, historic in identity, but modern in its municipal form. One of Toronto's defining features is its population diversity. About half of its residents were born outside Canada, making it one of the world's most important immigrant destinations. More than 200 ethnic origins are represented in the city, and over 160 languages are spoken. English is the main language for most residents, but everyday Toronto is multilingual, heard in homes, shops, schools, transit, media, and religious spaces. This diversity is not just a statistic. It shapes neighborhoods, food, music, business networks, political priorities, and the city's global outlook. Toronto's identity is built less around a single cultural tradition and more around the constant negotiation of many communities living in the same urban space. Toronto's government reflects the challenge of managing a large and complex city. It is governed by Toronto City Council, a unicameral body elected every 4 years. The council includes 25 councillors, each representing a geographical ward, along with the mayor, who serves as head of council and chief executive officer of the municipal government. This structure must deal with issues that affect millions of people: housing, transit, policing, public health, parks, development, climate resilience, and local services. Because Toronto is so economically and demographically important, municipal decisions often have national significance. A zoning change, transit expansion, or budget debate in Toronto can influence conversations across Canada. Economically, Toronto is Canada's largest financial centre. It is home to the Toronto Stock Exchange, the de facto operational headquarters of Canada's 5 largest banks, and the headquarters of many major Canadian and multinational corporations. This gives the city a central role in investment, lending, insurance, real estate, and corporate decision-making. But Toronto is not only a banking city. Its economy is highly diversified, with strengths in technology, design, financial services, life sciences, education, arts, fashion, aerospace, environmental innovation, food services, and tourism. That diversity helps the region remain resilient. When one sector slows, others can continue to draw talent, capital, and international attention. Toronto is also a major cultural production center. It plays a prominent role in music, theater, film production, television production, and digital media. Canada's major national broadcast networks and media outlets are headquartered there, making the city a central node in how Canadians receive news, entertainment, and cultural narratives. The city contains museums, galleries, festivals, entertainment districts, national historic sites, and major sports venues. These institutions are not just tourist attractions, they help define Toronto's public life. From film festivals to live music, from stage productions to professional sports, Toronto's cultural economy gives the city a visibility that reaches far beyond Ontario. Tourism is another measure of Toronto's reach. Its cultural institutions and public events attract more than 26 million visitors each year. Some come for business conferences, finance, education, or immigration-related travel. Others come for festivals, museums, food, sports, shopping, or the waterfront. Toronto's appeal is partly its scale. It offers the energy of a large North American city while remaining distinctly Canadian in its political context, public culture, and relationship to immigration. Visitors encounter a city of neighborhoods, where downtown towers, university campuses, waterfront trails, historic districts, and immigrant commercial streets all sit within the same metropolitan system. Tourism reinforces the city's role as both destination and gateway. Toronto's importance comes from the way its layers fit together. It is an Indigenous place, a former colonial capital, a provincial capital, Canada's largest city, a financial command center, a cultural producer, and one of the world's most multicultural urban regions. Its location on Lake Ontario helped make it strategic. Its political history gave it administrative weight. Its immigration patterns transformed its social identity. Its economy turned it into a national powerhouse. Today, Toronto is not simply a city with tall buildings and a famous skyline. It is a living example of how geography, history, migration, government, and global capitalism combine to create a modern metropolis. If you found this helpful, please like this video and subscribe for more explainers.